Ye cannot serve two masters. Why is that? Because there's only one intelligence, one presence, one power that can act, and that is the presence of God acting in me. When I turn to the world of outer manifestations and give all kinds of expressions and appearances power, I am attempting to serve a false usurping master. My ability to lift my hand and the life flowing through the nervous system of my outer form is God in action.
So let's go forward. First and foremost, the first thing we want to understand and understand is that when we speak about pineal, we always use another word as well called epiphysis or epiphysis. And when we deal with it, we talk about exploring the bionetwork of what we know to be the first eye. The third eye are represented by this: third density, third dimension, third eye. These are the third eye because these two eyes keep us in one focus, and that one focus is on the physical plane. So when we say the third eye, we're dealing with the two eyes that deal with the illusion. The first eye deals with the reality, which is the one we want to come back to. That's the one where you see the eye at the top of the pyramid. That's the one that's the hidden eye, which is the particular course, the course that we teach at our university is called the path of the hidden light. Kundalini force, Kundalini energy, the introspection and examination of ourselves from the inside, the outside in rather than the inside out. We are constantly focused into the illusion outside in. Well, when we deal with the epiphysis, we're dealing with the inside and we are exploring that part of ourselves that we don't see. The part of ourselves that we speak about that is about the spine, or it looks like it's the spine, it's the network connected to the spine. And as we were speaking about the River Jordan, which is the material, that source of energy that runs up the spine, we are dealing with the River Jordan, which essentially begins here in heaven and flows downward and then back up again. I don't want to get too deeply involved in semantics, but just to give you an idea that your body is a constant flow back and forth, yin and yang, and that's what keeps you balanced, the yin and yang force. We are now out of balance because the yang force is out of balance and the yin force is out of balance. The yin wants to be yang and the yang wants to be yin. So there is no balance in either of us because we are too busy trying to be the other physically and not spiritually. If you want to seek the other side of your so-called gender, you have to seek it from within, not to try to express it without. Wow. The balance comes with a peace of mind. So as we are exploring the bionetwork of the first eye, because we say it's the first eye since it's a vestigial eye. What do we mean by vestigial? It means that it was first, and then it went into submission. It went into latency. That's what it is, the first eye. Everything that is latent is usually first. So we deal with the first eye. So that being said, just to give you an idea, this is what an actual pineal looks like. Now, when you talk about crystallization versus calcification, everybody say a calcified pineal. Calcified pineal does not mean there's a whole lot of calcium caught up around it. Calcified pineals are actually pineals that are saturated in a kind of gooey substance. And because of that gooey substance that surrounds it based upon diet, based upon fluoride, the imbibing of fluoride and materials such as that, what happens is that it becomes flaccid. Now, you know, the male penis, flaccid, does not do the job of forwarding or bringing the ecstasy or bringing the life force to the feminine principle. So if you look at it, the reason why the pineal is actually shown to be, or is actually codified by the ancients as a masculine one, you'll see it looks exactly like the head of a penis. So as you look at it, as far as calcification is concerned, there's a difference between calcification and crystallization. When the body is dealing with health and purification, the pineal rises and essentially it hardens like a penis ready to give forth its life force. And what happens as Kundalini is rising, it rotates inside of the substantia nigra of the brain. It actually rotates. And what happens, it begins to give off phosgene information or energies that begins to light up the substantia nigra to the point where a rainbow, that the ancients say a rainbow is formed around the pineal. And that rainbow is the first and only ark of the covenant. What they talk about in the Bible and what they tell you they're carrying around, and so that is just representations of the ark that actually happens when there is phosgene and a lot of sparks given off by the potassium as you begin to raise Kundalini. So Kundalini, the pineal rotates during the time, so it's actually honing in the way that a radar dish or any of the dishes you use, it turns to get to the right spot where it begins to localize or pick up spiritual energy past the interferences that you see with 5G and all the rest of it, which makes it twice as difficult to be able to use Kundalini energy and to penetrate through this screen. They know what Kundalini energy does. They know what raising your life force and your energy does. That's why you see you're inside of a polluted soup of electromagnetic smog in your home, around you, in your workplace, outside, in the 5G, especially with the chemtrails. All of these things are to circumvent your ability to raise that energy within you. Now, just to give you an idea, so you know where the pineal or the epiphysis dorsi is located, we give this particular, I guess what you call animation. And in that animation, you'll see that the epiphysis is located just what is known as rostrodorsal. What is rostrodorsal? It means it's in the back of a beak-like or beak-like projection. And if you notice that as it turns, you will see that that is the beak of Heru. The beak of Heru, as spoken in our ancient Kemetu sciences. All of what you see the ancient ones looking like they worshipped, you know, the European comes up and think that we were worshiping hawks, or we were worshiping lions. No, they were all a part of us. They were all what we call simulacra or simulacrum, which means they were similar to what we are. We are the highest form of life, the highest spiritual form of life. So every other form of life in existence on this plane is within us and is represented in our body parts, represented in the way that our molecules and the ways that our designs of our skull, the designs of our spine. As we are forming in the womb of our mother, we go through all these different shapes that look like the different animals. Well, that's because they all are projections from us back when we were ethereal beings casting forth our own ways for creation, imitating our mother father. So it's located rostrodorsal, near the back of the beak of any beak-like projection, to what is known as the superior colliculus, and behind and beneath the striate or stria medullaris, between the laterally positioned thalamic bodies. Now, this was a technical thing so that you can go look for yourself. This is what I give to my students. They go and they study the anatomy so that they can understand and understand exactly what this whole thing about Kundalini is. You have to understand the physicality as well as the spirituality, and you have to understand what it is and understand what it is you must be able to do and become in order to be able to participate in this science. So this is that little red dot you see. is indicative of right where the pineal sits. Now, it's interesting because if you look at the pineal gland, you will see it looks like what we call the staff of Usur. And Usur, which is the symbol of resurrection, because essentially when you raise Kundalini, you are resurrecting the latent God within you. So you see that each part, there's something called the idea, the Ida and the Pingala. These Ida and the Pingala are what we'll go and speak in a little later. These are two of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Now this, according to Christian law, the Ida and the Pingala are the two thieves that were crucified on either side of Jesus Christ. Now the two thieves, the reason why we call the two thieves, and the reason why they took those two thieves and placed them there, is because unless the Ida and the Pingala and the energy that flows through them are dysfunctioned and thereby utilized to raise the Kundalini cannot rise. So one thief says, get off and let's do our thing. The other thief says, this day, no, let him be, he's God and he's going to ascend by doing this. And he turns to him and says, this day you will be with me in paradise. Of course, because both of them had to die, and so did the Christ, so that he may raise, just like at the end you see that Heru actually raises his father Asa. This has all been stolen. This is all your what we call the astrotheology as well as biotheology. Everything that's happening outside that's divine is happening within you at the same time. And the symbolisms that you see that your ancestors used did not have to do with profanity or Lucifer or Satan and all this bullshit that these white Christians are now feeling so self-righteous because we are going into hell and we're now exposing all these satanic fools. What is actually happening is that one mythos, Jesus Christ, is now setting itself against another mythos, Lucifer and Satan, and they want you to believe that these two entities are really alive and that they're somehow outside of us and they're getting ready to do battle in the time of Armageddon and all this bull. The Armageddon is within you. You are the one that is doing battle with yourself, against your senses, against all of what it is that keeps you from realizing your God self. That symbol is also represented in the pine cone, because they always tell you what a pineal actually comes from the word pine cone or pine cone, pine this, pineal, pine cone. If you see this particular symbol that you're looking at on screen on the left is actually in the Vatican, in Vatican Square. So they put it right in your face. I tell my students that the two peacocks represent the same as the Ida and the Pingala. They're putting it right in your face. You see, again, the pearl that's down there, that's the pituitary. The pearl that you see in the square that's silvery and reflecting, it's you. At the bottom of the screen, you're seeing a grave. This is the grave that the Masons use when they raise the initiate going in for the third master degree, and they give them the lion's paw, and they raise the I guess the person that they call the Hiram Abiff. They raise him from the dead. So the coffin that you're seeing there is the same coffin that they took from the, I guess, the masters of the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid. If you look at that particular coffin, it looks exactly like the coffin in the king's chamber, only it's been, I guess, fixed up a little bit so it could be more presentable. But that pineal there, that pine cone you're seeing in the Vatican, they know exactly what it is. It is representative of the pineal gland. And the two of, you see the ones that the peacocks, because they open up and have all these colors, They're representative of the 7 stages of Kundalini. Now, let us go into an understanding what a chakra is.
Ye cannot serve 2 masters. Why is that? Because there's only one intelligence, one presence, one power that can act, and that is the presence of God acting in me. When I turn to the world of outer manifestations and give all kinds of expressions and appearances power, I am attempting to serve a false usurping master. My ability to lift my hand and the life flowing through the nervous system of my outer form is God in